still, as if we are waiting our doom. We can do nothing, just only waiting when is the next strike is going to, because as you know, they strike mosques, they strike all the facilities, and my house is near a mosque, my house is near a market, my house is, and we don't know where's the next target. This is what is frightening us the most.
Mr. Mohammed, when a bombardment starts happening, what do you do? How do you take cover? How do you protect your children? And what do you say to them?
How can I protect them? I can't protect them because my house is because F-16, you know, there is no shelter from the F-16. And besides this, that my house is, you know, as I told you, it's the specialist houses, that it is already an old house. But I keep very close to them. I keep telling them that it is just only, you know, balloons. It's just only, don't be afraid. Their ears, I put my fingers in their ears in case they walk, they hug me, and they cry. They are traumatized. And
right across Gaza, do you think the spirit of the people in Gaza is close to being broken?
It is very low. It is extremely broken. I want to tell you about one thing, that we rarely go out of our homes just only to buy our needs, our just the essential needs of our home. And yesterday I just went to the market, although I knew that the market is very risky area, because there's also a mosque in this market. I bought my things quickly, and I went home. And after coming home, you know, within minutes, I knew that the drone, the Israeli aircraft surveillance, they struck somewhere in this market, and a woman got a sharp nail in her nose out of this. So I was lucky to escape, to buy my things, to buy my essential things, and go home, because you know. When I went there, I was indifferent, because the bombardment, the killing is everywhere. It's everywhere, anytime. You can't expect the horrible situation that we are leading. The people, they just talk about this. I want to tell you something, that yesterday in my dreams, what all I see is some friends, some family members, that they are all dead people. This is a real situation. Two days ago, I went to a doctor because I had a very horrible day, that I was unable to breathe soundly the whole day. And
first of all, about Hamas, what would be your message to the Hamas leadership, and would you call on them to stop the rocket fire out of Gaza and into Israel?
First of all, I want to say that those the people who are under fire are the civilian people, and throughout these rockets that they said that they are thrown in Israel, I think that they are more like games rather than they are sounds, and the numbers, they speak by themselves. When you are, the gospel here in Gaza, it talks about they are approaching 1,000 people. That's in Gaza. If there is no rocket, I'm sure, and we still suffer. No one in the world as a whole would care about us. So just they care when a thing in Israel is hurt. But when 1,000 Palestinians and 5,000 Palestinians and other 5 Palestinians are injured, most of them are killed, children. No one from the leaders is provoked to do anything.
Every time there's a war between Arabs and Israelis, the language is exactly the same. The Arab League will hold an emergency summit, there'll be a committee formed, the Israelis will listen to the Americans, but they'll go on to the end in rooting out world terror. What was it Ehud Barak said the other day? We will go on to the bitter end. The Israelis have been going on to the bitter end in 78 in Lebanon, in 82 in Lebanon, in 93 in Lebanon, in 96 in Lebanon, in 2006 in Lebanon. It's so tiresome to listen to these lies being constantly pushed out by the Arabs and by the Israelis and by the Americans. The issue is that the Palestinians of Gaza, and this is the real story, do not come from Gaza. The Palestinians of Gaza come from that part of Palestine that became Israel. And the place where the rockets, the Hamas pathetic rockets, are falling are the lands which were owned by the people who now live in Gaza. And this is the story which you and Al Jazeera tell, but which the Western media do not tell. My newspaper did, I'm pleased to say. But, you know, this is the big irony that in any other story, in any other part of the world, the Congo, China, India, Kashmir, people would tell the story. But in the Middle East, they don't, because the issue is the dispossession of Palestinians, and that remains the center of the issue of justice, and then from there onwards, democracy and what you will.
There's the UN, the United Nations, and its recent resolution on Gaza, which so far has had absolutely no effect whatsoever. Secretary General Ban Ki-moon is in the region to try to implement this effort. The country of Qatar has called for an emergency Arab League summit to be held on Friday, but one of the main players, Egypt, has rejected that proposal, instead calling for a consultation in Kuwait during the Arab Economic Summit. And then there's the Egyptian initiative. It proposes a long-term truce and the opening of the border crossings policed by an international force. But Hamas has serious reservations about the idea of foreign troops on its border and insists any ceasefire must be accompanied by an immediate pullout of Israeli troops.
The president of the UN General Assembly says it's time for major UN reform.
The time has come to move in the direction of making General Assembly resolutions binding. After all, this is the only truly representative body in the United Nations. This represents the entire world.
But for now, many Arabs seem to have lost faith in the World Organization.
So all roads seem to lead to this Egyptian peace initiative. Do you think that's where the best hope lies?
Egypt still has the ability to contact both sides and to try to work something. If Egypt succeeds to do something really to stop the war.
I've been listening for 32 and a half years in the Middle East to the same kind of language we've just heard. At some point in this terrible war, and I'm talking about a larger war now, not just Gaza, the West Bank, Israel, Arabs, we in the West will have to wake up to the fact that terrible injustices are being done in this region of the world. We'll have to abandon talk about human rights and democracy, much though the Arabs would like that and deserve it, and start talking about justice. And at the moment, we don't do that. I've just been reading an interview in Newsweek by Tony Blair, in which he manages to avoid all the major issues about the Palestinians. I've been reading another interview in Newsweek in which a Muslim writer talks about the splendid Israeli army. Now, when you have this kind of worldview of the outrageous war that's going on inside Gaza, which does include war crimes. I think Hamas may be guilty of war crimes, by the way, but the Israelis also are guilty of war crimes. And there is no serious action by the West, let alone the Arab world, which we've all forsaken and forgotten about. I don't see any kind of reason for any optimism at all in the near future or even in the medium future. Why are they dispossessed? Why are settlements, colonies for Jews and Jews only being built on Arab land illegally, and still it continues?
Okay, those are very much long term.
Let me just finish, if I may.
Sure.
Unless we deal with this, there will not be an end to this war. There may be a ceasefire in Gaza, a ceasefire in the West Bank, but there won't be an end to the war. That is the problem.
80-year-old Abu Yusuf, a war veteran from Fatah's military wing Al-Asifa.
وهذه بلد يعني مضطهد وبعدين معتدى عليها.
We are an oppressed country.
بشوفها
We've
الإيام
always been subjected to aggression.
بيتعرضوا له.
We see these ugly crimes against our people. We are human beings.
Zakaria draws many parallels between Jenin and Gaza, but he points to one difference that he believes is a key source of weakness in this trip.
In the camp we were all united. We were not fighting in the name of our factions. There was no Fatah, Hamas, Jihad or PA fighters. We resisted the aggression together.